Good morning, and welcome to your business in digital. Good morning, guys. How are you doing this morning? Andrea, welcome back.
Thank you. Happy to be back.
Good morning, everyone.
Oh, super
Happy
excited.
Wednesday.
Right? Happy Wednesday. Super excited about today's show, but let's jump into the intro, guys. Good morning and welcome to your business in digital. I am Tamara Monlouis. On this show, what we do is we really help small businesses translate their business to digital. We understand that it is not an easy exercise, but we want to get to that place where you are achieving your business goals through your digital marketing and your digital efforts, right? You spend a lot of time and money with that. So we're here to help you with that. So I want to do a quick recap from the last show. In the last show, we talked about KPIs, right? KPIs, key performance indicators. And as a small business, as any business, you should be looking at your KPIs. And we talked about why they're important, right? Because it really sets the tone for if you're achieving your business goals, if you're not achieving those business goals. Looking at your KPIs helps you get to that place. We talked about the difference between metrics and KPIs. We make them interchangeable all the time, right? But metrics are a little bit more of that, that those are the numbers that you're looking at across all of the business. And the KPIs, again, get you to that goal. So it's almost like the KPIs are a subset of the metrics, right? How to choose the right KPIs to track. You want to go back and look at your goals. You want to go back and look at, what you're trying to accomplish, because that sets the tone for the right KPIs to track. Your business goals are so important to this. Anything you're doing, you really must focus on those business goals, right? Which metrics should you choose not to measure in digital marketing? I say measure everything, but understand how the metrics are weighted, how the KPIs are weighted. If you're looking at likes and follows versus shares versus saves, if you're looking at conversion rates versus time on site, you want to really consider the weighting of the metric rate, right? Is someone coming in from the top of the funnel? Is that a top of the funnel metric? Is it a vanity metric? Is that metric or KPI showing a little bit more intent? Just getting a clearer understanding of it. So measure everything, but still coming back to those goals and understanding what everything means as it relates to your goals and how to get there through the digital marketing metrics, because they're a little bit different, right? It's not as traditional as, I want to get to $10,000 and it's this linear way to get there. There are a few steps and a few KPIs along the way to get to that $10,000. How to interpret your KPIs into strategic recommendations. You have to look at the data. The data must start telling you a story, right? You have to look at those trends to see what's happening and how is it impacting the business outside. And then look at that to say, all right, if I have an ad and no one is clicking through that ad, well, what does that mean? It means that maybe they're not necessarily interested. Maybe they're not attracted to it. So I need to make a change in that space. If I have people coming to my webpage and they're not staying for a very long time, and I know there's really good content here and they should be staying at least 2 minutes, but they're only staying about 25 seconds. You understand that they're not consuming any of the content. So maybe it's about the landing page, the layout, the call to actions. You got to start looking to see what the numbers are telling you. What is that story? And really lean into those recommendations and make those changes. It's important for marketing to keep making changes and optimizing until you get to that optimal formula. What do you do when digital marketing KPIs are not met? You go back and you go back to the drawing board, right? To the drawing board of those KPIs and say, well, it's not met and why? Why isn't it met? And look at optimization because that could probably be the thing. Maybe you need to change something. So go back and look to see where isn't it met and why hasn't it been met? Do I need to bring more people into the business? Am I losing something here and why am I losing that? Understand that the numbers have to connect back to the business. So the KPIs must connect back, right? So If the numbers are not being met, then you have to look at the data and make changes. Again, it's not this one and done situation. You must keep making changes till you get to that optimal formula. Are there any great dashboards to track your KPIs? 100%. You want to use Google Analytics. You want to make sure Google Analytics is connected to your website. It's connected to your sales funnel, whatever you have. You want to make sure it's integrated so that you can really get a clear understanding of how all your efforts, how your entire online presence is really driving towards your business. So KPIs was our conversation on Monday. I love talking about the metrics, but let me bring the guys back to the stage. How are you? How are you? Welcome back. What did you think about our KPI conversation, and what else do you have to add to everything, to the recap?
I'd say that they're not frightening. It's not a foreign language, and it's something that we have to not. We don't have to have a doctoral degree to know everything, but we need to know how to manage our business and what questions to ask when we have help. Like all four of us in this room come to the table so that we're educated and can help our business move forward to its goals. So I thought we were pretty on target, and we didn't go into nerd land on Monday, unusually so.
Very true. We didn't get into nerdland. As we know, analytics is tomorrow's bag. So we went deep, but really, good conversation on KPIs and what to choose for your business. And the fact that you just need to be measuring. You need to be measuring what's your progress toward your goal.
So even though I wasn't there live, I did take in the show. And what I loved about it is it really inspired business owners to understand that these are the tools, right? The metrics and stuff are the tools that you need to use to help you get to your goals. It's not just, and it gives them something that they could measure, because the worst thing about owning a business is being out there and just trying to swim and not knowing how far you've reached, right? You just have no clue, and you're just treading water and you're not sure. But the metrics will help you to say, okay, this is where you are. The KPIs gives you something to work towards. And I think that's critical for business owners, to have that goal in mind to work towards, so that they just, all their actions make sense, and it gives them purpose, a sense of purpose. Yes, your overall sense of purpose is your business, and you want to change the world with your business. But these little KPIs and metrics are really key to helping you get there in the long run. And I really liked how the conversation flowed.
All right. Well, welcome back. We love that. All right. So we're going to do a few things. We're going to tell the people to connect with us. So connect with us on YouTube. We're really working to grow our YouTube channel and get to that place of monetizing YouTube. So help us there and connect with us on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, set up your notifications so that you know when the show is live. And if you can't make the live show, that's fine. It's recorded and you can go back and take a look at it at any point in time. We add in all the chapters. We're doing really fun stuff on YouTube. So I'm super excited about that. If YouTube is not your jam, that's fine. Check us out on LinkedIn. We are broadcasting across LinkedIn, Facebook. So check us out on LinkedIn at Your Business in Digital. And because we want to distribute this amazing content, we've been getting great feedback on it. So we've been putting our content everywhere. So we're showing up on Spotify, on Apple, on Amazon, and Google. So check us out, listen to the podcast, listen to this live show as the podcast. We upload it right after the show. So definitely check it out, share with other business owners, share with the CMO of a small business, the CFO of a small business, share with the CEO of a small business. Let them know that we are here to help them really achieve their business goals through digital marketing. And this show really helps you to translate your business into digital, because many times we understand that you're already achieving those goals offline, but digital can be a little bit daunting, and we want to help you get to that money in the bank. So definitely check it out. The next thing I want you guys to do is to, test the effectiveness of your online presence. Scan this QR code and it'll take you to our quiz. This is where you get to understand, how's your online presence performing? Do you have a strong online presence? Do you have a medium online presence? Do you have a weak online presence? Don't you want to know? It gives you baseline numbers to understand where you can start off, and it gives you a little bit of a roadmap. And this is also our lead generation tool. So go for it. Everything that we're talking to you about, we are actually doing on the show to effectively market our business. So definitely scan the QR code, take the quiz, take the quiz. Did I say everything?
I think you got it. You got it. You got it.
Did you say take the quiz? Did you say take the quiz?
Did I say take the quiz? I don't know why now I'm like,
In
take
case
the
you
quiz.
haven't heard it yet, take the quiz.
Take the quiz. All
And
right,
we
guys.
are, wherever you are, we are everywhere.
We're
So
everywhere.
literally.
We still have a few more places to show up, but what I love about this is that again, we're really working on content distribution. And so what we're telling the other small businesses is exactly what we're doing for ourselves, right? This is what I love to call, my favorite banner, blah, 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 blah. I think I haven't done it for a long time, but this is what we like to call marketing in motion. You see me make my own sound effects. I still have to get some sound effects. I say that all the time, but that's marketing in motion, right? We're doing exactly, we're practicing what we preach. We're doing the same thing. So we are looking at the data points, everything that we talk about. So I'm always excited about that. So, all right. So on to our hot topics section. So I hear we have a little hot topic today. Michelle, what's going on? Hot topics. Super excited.
Yes, ma'am.
So, all right, let's get you situated for your hot topics. What are we talking about today?
We are talking about the Gen Z generation is what we're talking about today. I found it interesting. We had a couple of things happen here in the United States in regard to something political that I'm not getting into, but it was interesting to me because the Gen Z component came to the table, and what are we doing to ensure that we're acknowledging their wants, their needs, their desires, and their effect that they'll have on the future as we're moving forward. And coincidentally, as that was happening, I think I had literally 3 or 4 either articles, newsletters, or something pop up into my one of my feeds that spoke to Gen Zs, and that made me take a look at a couple of things to understand what is that generation all about, and how, from a small business perspective, is it affecting our world, because they are coming through and in at a space and age where they're going to shape our workforce. They're shaping what the consumer trends are and what in society is going to matter to us, and their voice is important, and we must lean in and pay attention. So as I was doing the research for it, in 2 of the articles, they spoke to how with this generation, because they are really the first of the digital age, the traditional practices that we have in place for, us millennials, well, I'm actually Gen X, but millennials and the older generations just won't work because their mode of consuming information is just so different. So they're less effective, and actually we're speaking to dead space for them because they're just not there. They're not there to even consume the information that's put there for other generations. Go ahead to the next slide, thanks. And then what's interesting about this is we're speaking of their buying power and how they purchase things. For many of our generations, once we find a brand, we're loyal to a brand. I think I might have mentioned this in one of the earlier shows that we're working in. There are a couple of clothing brands and other products that I purchased that I'm very, very loyal to. For me, I have my own reasons, but as I was doing the research on this, I found that of a great deal of more than half of the Gen Zers that were told in a survey, they said they shop and shop and shop varying brands despite having, those favorites. And what's really interesting of all of that we as small business owners need to lean into is that 50% of those that were surveyed would switch a brand in a heartbeat from their favorite to try something new if that other brand had a higher quality or was less expensive than the brand that they have leaned into and was their quote unquote favorite for that moment. So I thought that was interesting. Now, what does that mean for us as small business owners that we have to pay attention to for not just the Gen Z generation, but this is really applicable to any generation as we're looking at our buying community, those that we want to have lean into us and to pay attention to our brand. Is that we have to look into developing a very detailed or several buying personas for your target audiences, and the Gen Z in specific is where we're speaking to today. Our strategy needs to also look at more than just your retention plan, your retention strategy, your new customer acquisition strategy has to be strong, because as this is saying here, there's going to be a flip. They are just not going to be a generation that you can, I'm not saying count on, but they're looking, because the competition is out there and they're looking and willing to try your competition. And most importantly in here, once they're in your door, show your lanyard. What's your something extra? What's the differentiator for your business that's going to make them quickly move and turn their head away from the competition, be tunnel visioned and focused on your business, because it takes less than a nanosecond for their attention and our attention, not just Gen Zers, but attention to be swayed and to move on to something else. So I just thought it was a really interesting topic for us to consider as we've been talking about who our audiences are and pulling them in, and what it takes to get any customer, but especially a Gen Zer, to pay attention to us, buy from us, stay focused on us, and stay engaged with us, more importantly.
Yeah. I think that's where the attracting content really becomes really important, right? How do you draw them in? And then there's so many layers to think about. You have to think about all the nuances, climate change, all the things that really matter to them. So it's about that research and understanding that Gen Zer, and then also connecting with Gen Zers and having them on your team. And sometimes as that the other generations, they're like, oh, what do these young kids know? They definitely have a different perspective, and that's one of the things we do here at Monovan is we surround ourselves with the Gen Zers.
And I have to tell you, I was actually frightened, because as I was looking, I was really trying to, again, remind myself of what the age years are for it. And one of them popped up. It was a Gen Alpha. And I just got scared, because like, what is this Gen Alpha? What is it? And it's the next generation under Gen Zers that we have to pay attention to. And then I realized I have all of them in my life, as nieces and nephews, and thought about how they react to how I communicate and how I am best able to get them to engage and where their attention is. And it reached throughout all of the research that I've done on this. So it is relevant to us, and it might be more than one generation between us and them, but we have to pay attention. Our businesses are dependent upon knowing the nuance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is so interesting to me, because it's such a subtle change, right? So you would have a marketing line, you've been marketing, you've been getting your results. And then when these shifts start to happen, you're not going to see it, very overtly necessarily, right? And we're talking about, and we've seen this on many of the platforms when they issue guides, and so the guides are all around reaching Gen Z, right? So definitely that should flag that should ring that bell for you to say, listen, you need to pay attention and see where you need to modify things. Just as Michelle said, what's different with this persona? What triggers them to buy? They have very different needs, and they're not afraid to click away.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as Michelle said, it's so funny. I myself had some Gen Z articles pop up in my feed this week, and in particular about working with them, right? How they behave in the workspace, and basically the article was saying that they're a bit difficult to work with, right? So, but I mean, that's a whole different conversation. But what I could say about Gen Z and business, I don't know if you ever noticed it, but at least here for me at home here in Trinidad, we have some companies have been around for long, right? You just have the legacy, what I call like a legacy company. You've always known this particular business to be there for a long time. And you can actually tell when the new generation takes it over, right? And all of a sudden the business starts to behave differently. It starts to behave differently. You start to see them. One in particular comes to mind that I came upon recently. They just started to pop up everywhere. And I was like, I didn't even know this business. And they're like, you don't know this business? This business existing since the 1990s, but they were only in one location, like they were only in this location, what we call south of the island, right? They were just like, yeah, anybody who live in the south of the island know about this business. But then all of a sudden, the new generation comes now, and there you could tell immediately that their business strategy and their business thinking is different. You could just see the difference. They start popping up everywhere. and it's just massive expansion. And I think as business owners, we have to tune into that, because if those people are our clients and our customers, and we're accustomed dealing with the original owner, and we're accustomed having conversations and doing business with them, when Gen Z comes in now at the manager level and the Gen Z starts to think, they're going to make different decisions, right? They may throw that legacy agreement out the door, because because they're coming with a different perspective. So yes, from a customer perspective, as a business owner, we need to attract Gen Z as customers, but we also have to remember, if you already have them as customers, Gen Z could be coming up in that same customer that you didn't even think about. So pay attention to that.
100%. I love that point. And I think to add to that is that the new generation always sets the trend. So at some point in time, the older generation, they're on TikTok now, right? They kind of move in that direction as well. So those trends, we as small businesses must stay current. Even if you think Gen Z is not your target audience, you must stay current with the trends, because they can impact your business. You can use those trends to evolve your marketing and really be ready to capture them. And it's really understanding where's the subset, right? Where is the middle ground? What are the things that matter to them, and how do you have a conversation with them? I think that's really important, because it's a different type of conversation. So a lot for small businesses to consider. You guys Michelle, this was a good one today. You got everybody on fire.
It is. I thought, and thank you. It was, in this, as we are getting into this, and post-COVID, pre-COVID, pick a place that you want to be in. Our talk track and how we communicate is just ever important in every aspect of what we do. And the more we lean into it and acknowledge that there is a difference, and that we need to understand each other a bit better, that will help us to convert more business, help us to move our business along, and open up that space of people that we're dealing with, and have them come into our community. So I thought it was just something that we all could benefit from in this space. So thank you for letting me throw that on the table this week.
Oh, well, thank you. All right. Well, we are moving on to our next segment, which I love to call, the segment, guys. It is Go Beyond the Likes. Our Go Beyond the Likes segment is where we, talk about things that allow us to get to that money in the bank, where we talk about things that get us to, the next step, the other part of the marketing, the other part of the business. So today we have a special guest with us. And today we're talking about scaling your business, how to choose the right CRM for your business, for your small business. And we have Lyndon Brathwaite with us. Super excited to bring Lyndon to the stage. Lyndon, good morning. Good morning. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Tamara. Good morning, team, and good morning, everyone else that's looking. I am just as excited as well. It's cool. It's cool to moving from a spectator, because, of course, I was following you guys from, what's the name? SoundCloud?
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse. Look at that, SoundCloud, right? So moving from Clubhouse and now across to LinkedIn, and then also having the ability to just connect with you all on different mediums and different purposes on the back end. So that's been cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. No, so Lyndon, tell the people who you are, what you do. Tell them about yourself.
All right, so my name is Lyndon Brathwaite, and we're coming out of Trinidad and Tobago, so we're going with Brathwaite and not Brathwaite and not Braithwaite. And I am the lead consultant of OPAAT-SWY Consulting. I'm also the founder of the same company. And my main thing is that I love helping organizations find different ways towards growing their businesses, right? And a large part with that is looking at things from a customer relationship management standpoint. And my purpose of the conversation here today with you all is to talk a little bit about CRM, but as Tamara said, going beyond the likes. So we want to talk beyond the space of just CRM, the software, but really understand what CRM is, and then kind of bring that back into if it is that we are looking at technology and stuff. So that's what I do. I cover three main areas: sales, marketing, and service. And we look at software implementation with CRM as well.
Oh my goodness. So Lyndon, we've been honored and had the pleasure to work with you. Monovan Digital has the pleasure to work with you with one of our clients, which was, I mean, it was I think we kind of knew about each other, but then that was the first time we really got to work with you. And it has been such a rewarding experience because you have, I think that's helped us to move into a space of CRM quicker. So
Right.
talk a little bit about what you do, especially with HubSpot and your partnership with HubSpot, and talk a little bit about that. Well, I think one of the things too is let's also, in there throw in a little bit of a definition of a CRM too, because we really want to make sure that we're
All
breaking
right.
the conversation down. So HubSpot, CRM, give us a little bit of a breakdown.
All right. So I am a HubSpot partner, right? And HubSpot being a CRM platform is a customer relationship management platform. But the thing is that I always like to tell folks that if you are looking at implementing CRM, because a lot of things happen, sometimes I may talk a little about CRM on social platforms. Customers see a few things with the software, they get all excited. But when we really start having a conversation about it, there isn't a strategy behind their CRM or why they would want a CRM in the first place. So CRM really means customer relationship management, and it's really a tool to help you better manage those relationships with your customers. Every single thing that Tamara and the team spoke about just now, understanding the behavior of Gen Z, understanding who the alphas are coming up. We're also looking at things like KPIs and metrics. All of those can be better managed within your CRM, but it's also to help you, the small business or the medium-sized business, be better as it relates to how you want to be able to now grow your business, take certain strategies, move them forward. And my role is to help you implement that and also sometimes flesh out. Because you will tend to find that a HubSpot partner isn't just the person to help you put the switches on, but to help you think through your process. So we may talk a little bit about the sales process. We may talk a little bit about the marketing strategy. We may talk about the handover between sales and marketing, or marketing and sales, and then sales and service, because all of those things have gaps. So we kind of delve a little bit into the sales operations or revenue operations. So it's a number of different things, but that's kind of what we do.
Good morning, Lyndon. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. So great
Michael, what's up?
introduction. I am fine, sir. I am fine. So yes, today is my day to nerd out with Lyndon on CRMs. So that's why I'm smiling. Just as Tamara said, Lyndon, kind of brought us to the doorstep of, you all know what you all are doing with the CRM. So why aren't you all doing it? And we are on board. We're fully on board. So, and for all those reasons. So great having you here this morning, Lyndon.
A pleasure. Thank you.
I had to bring Michael to the stage because I knew he was going to nerd out. So I was just right away.
Such powerful tools for small business, man.
Yeah.
But
can I give you?
Sure, but let me just say, you hit the nail on the head.
Sure.
I am a fan of saying it's not tech first. Tech is always exciting. New tech is always exciting. But it has to do with process. It has to do with thought process first. So I think you hit that nail on the head. I'm so glad you brought that up right at the top of it, that we have to be thinking first about, what's our marketing strategy? When I do bring in a marketing lead, how does that lead get handed over to sales? When sales has closed that deal, how do I not only ensure client success, but capture client successes, right? So that's that full range right there. So glad to have you this morning. Tell me.
No, I was just going to give a really quick story about, there was one time that Michael and I were going through something with on the back end, with a client, one of the clients that we're supporting you on, and Michael got that epiphany, like he saw when everything was connected. I'm like, oh my! So he just, his level just raised.
Let me tell you something. As
So
any business owner knows, we talked on Monday about dashboards, right? And looking at HubSpot was looking at a dashboard, seeing everything in one place. Definitely, as HubSpot says, one source of truth. And you get that view of your business that is just ridiculous, right? That gives you so much insight.
It does. And I mean, I can say as we look at HubSpot, I'm running Google ads, all those things are now connected and for one of our clients. And I mean, we actually had a meeting yesterday where we were able to kind of jump in and right away just make recommendations. It was like, we saw this happened, this happened. And it is that one source of truth. So the CRM has definitely been game changing for our business. And also because of working with you, we're also now CRM. We are also now HubSpot partners. So we're excited to, be in that space and really bring on other small businesses to it. So all right. Okay. Enough nerding out. So Lyndon, we gotta jump into the content because the people are here for the content. So as what we'll do is, it's a lot of us in the room today. So we'll bring other people up to the stage back and forth. I'm gonna push Michael back because he'll steal the show.
I'll stay here. We'll talk all morning.
All right. So Lyndon, let's start off with question number one, right? Why is a CRM important? You alluded to that in the first part of the conversation, but dig a little bit deeper for small businesses.
All right, so let me start that by taking the technology out of the picture. All right, so I would always say CRM starts off once you have an approach as a small business, as an entrepreneur, whether you're a solopreneur, small business, small team, etc. Even if you're going up into the medium space, once you have a strategy as to how you want to manage your customer relationships from beginning, middle to end, that is a CRM. That is a way that you want to manage your customer relationships. If you're writing stuff down in a book, you're saving stuff in Excel, all those are different versions of CRM. The thing is that with those other platforms, things that you might be using, whether it's your book, a notepad, etc., if you're just using your memory or your phone, they are not the best tools. So having a CRM strategy first is one to outline how do we want to manage those customers? How do we want to attract them? How do we want to engage when it's time for sales to engage with them? How do they see that information? And how do we want to now move them all the way towards making a decision? And then when you are ready to have some technology in there, recognizing that you have some gaps or inefficiencies or you need more information, how do you want now that piece of software, that technology to help you better improve the way that you have those relationships?
Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning, and welcome, Lyndon. I think I'm not going to nerd out as badly as Michael does, but I'm so ever interested in this one and trying not to, I should have worn my shirt, Tammy. You should have warned me that says, let me overthink this, because I'm that person that would overthink this entire process. So for those of us, Lyndon, that are like that overthink things way too much and paralyze ourselves and don't move sometimes because of that. When we're working with this, and I am typically in the sales and revenue and pricing environment, when would you suggest that someone that is entertaining a CRM and trying to develop a strategy, at what point do they begin working on a CRM strategy, and who in their world do they need to work with as they're considering it?
All right, so let me just ask, so when you say who do we need to work with, you mean internally within the organization or externally? Yes. with a consultant?
Within their internal organization. One of the things that we mention here all the time, that as we're working together, that it's important not to work in a silo, but there are times when we work with each other, not all at the same time, but sometimes it's one-on-one or two or three of us together instead of all four. At what point do we need to bring all of those components into the conversation to make it more efficient for us? Versus, and the reason why I ask is because I have had occasions where I'm working with clients and then also with myself in varying components of things where we brought someone to the table too late. We should have brought them in early at its infancy, or we brought them on too early. We weren't ready for them in the conversation. So as small businesses are entertaining this and trying to understand, yes, I need to develop it, what's the apropos time to make that happen?
So that's a really good question, because what I have seen is many organizations sometimes are not even aware that they should be thinking that they should be looking at implementing a CRM or even developing a CRM strategy. They know, however, that they may not be making the same type of revenue that they were making from before. They recognize that there are some problems as it relates to maybe the gaps and the handover. And you use a really important word there just now as it speaks to silos. But because, well, I would speak for us here in Trinidad, that our adoption to technology is sometimes so slow or non-existent. It is they seldom reach the conversation of software or technology quick enough, right? So they try different things, they try different marketing strategies, etc., but they don't always see the results of it. I will say once a company is aware that they have a problem, right, and they realize that they can't pinpoint, it's wise to now speak to a consultant to just, and that's the consultant should be someone who understands maybe sales operations, revenue operations, just even marketing, because you have someone who would understand marketing, but then they could actually pinpoint that sales may not be bringing this stuff in, or the handover between marketing and sales may be broken. And then that brings the second part of your question in as to who should be involved: marketing, sales, and service, because CRM kind of factors in the three most important revenue generating areas of your organization. Sales, well, marketing for the lead gen side and the nurturing. Sales for the lead from moving from lead into the conversion to the customer. And then, of course, that handover from sales across to the service component. Now, yes, you may not have a large team that does that, but within the right CRM that you're using, you can have a tool. The tool can actually help you manage some of those things. So when does it help you manage handover, et cetera, et cetera. And then you also factor in people like finance, not just because finance have to write the checks, but it would be wise for sometimes finance. Let me give you an example. I'm actually showing an organization now that because of how their stock management is, when their reps are saying that we lost this deal because of no stock, it is actually quantifying that for them. So it might actually say, when they pull the report to say deal lost or reason, they will see that they lost $5 million because of no stock. Well, why are we not doing the stock properly? Because the guys aren't forecasting well enough to let the people, and they know how to order, how, the lead time in terms of ordering, and then how you manage that sales process with the customer. So everyone in the organization should be involved, especially all the stakeholders that has some sort of responsibility, front end or back end, in terms of delivering to the customer. I hope I answered that properly for you.
No, I appreciate what you just said too, that it's not a one person kind of show. And I think when I have my moment where you could see the recognition in my eyes, like, oh, this is my why of why, to lean into it, was that it's actually a money maker for you. It's not an administrative task. It's a money maker on both sides. It helps to bring it in the door, and the efficiency component of it. Do I do it well all the time? Absolutely not. But that was my buy-in. That was my buy-in to invest the time to learn something about it, and to also understand its way to help me to be and for my clients, and I think us in this space, to be efficient and to be a better business, because it's teaching us everything that we need to know. So I'm going to.
If I can just add,
after all. So.
Yeah. If I can just add one extra thing to what you're saying. So you see where you said it's a money maker. It is, yes, a money maker for you, but a lot of the times we're seeing where, because of inefficiencies, companies already have the money on the table, they're just leaving it on the table. So CRM actually helps you, or the right CRM tool with the strategy actually helps you make sure that money moves from the table and goes into the bank, and not just stays there and eventually the customer takes it off the table and carries it somewhere else. So yeah, it does that for you as well.
Oh, man. All right.
Thank you. I'm going to step back because I know we have Andrea and Michael. I know he wants to come back, but thank you. I appreciate you being here, because this is our jam. This is really all of us are going in.
So, Lyndon, moving into the next question, right? Because these are the questions people also want to know on top of the questions we have for you. I feel like so many questions coming at you, but we love the answers. So what are the benefits of a CRM for a small business?
For a small business, you want to pay attention to, and most small businesses may not be thinking like this. So we want to first understand things like, one, who your customers are, as one. Two, and I'll keep this like really, really simple. Two, in terms of now managing all your customers in one space. So no, Gmail or Outlook is not a CRM, because you can't do certain things like segmentation, right? So segmentation in itself too is that because we may be offering different services or carrying different products, you get the ability to now split that up into I'm saying HubSpot here, but it's in your CRM. So you have the ability of segmenting, and then based upon your segmentation, you can understand, well, which periods I would have had most of my deals. Now, yes, people might say, well, my ERP or my QuickBooks and this and that and the third may actually help me do those things, but it can't help you execute as it relates to that. So if I can give a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was able to close maybe one of my largest deals at the time, mainly because I segmented. So I did things like email marketing. That's another benefit of having a CRM, right? But I understood who my customers were. I segmented, and because I was also able to write some content, because I know that we talk a lot about content here. The first thing that I did when I sent out the email marketing, I made the error of sending it to everybody, and I got a really low response. But when I paid attention to the content itself, it spoke specifically to an industry, and this time it was insurance. So I said, you know what, let me just go and see who's in my CRM. Let me see who's there. I pulled out maybe a smaller sample of insurance people, and let's say it went out to 20. And coming out of that, I got a speaking engagement, I got a consulting engagement, and I also got a training engagement from one customer. But I took the time to use the CRM to help me understand who my customers were. I did the segmentation. I did my email marketing. I pushed it out to the right people. I A/B tested. I think you all may have spoken about A/B tested at one time in the past. And so that also helped me understand, okay, this one failed. Let me do it this way. And this one worked. So all of those little things. But again, data quality, execution of strategies, some of the main benefits are coming out with your CRM.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So I love this conversation because, well, I use a CRM, I use HubSpot. So, and as you were talking about the benefits, as you're talking about the benefits, that is exactly a bit of the journey that I have started and that I'm continuing on. And the very first benefit Lyndon said was, Gmail is not your CRM. And I remember that when I first started with HubSpot with Lyndon, that was the first thing, like, oh, Gmail is actually tracking my email addresses, collecting it into a list for me. And I could go back and see all who I spoke to, and it was amazing. Even before I was very clear on what my strategy was for CRM, HubSpot was there in the background, just reading my emails and collecting the data. And then I look back a year later and I was like, where did all these email addresses come from? I'm seeing I have a list of over 100 people. And I'm like, but how did I get here? And I started going and realized, oh, wow. So it actually said to me, Andrea, you've been having a lot of conversations. But with Gmail, you couldn't see that. You would just see an inbox and you wouldn't be able to see who you was talking to and what you spoke to them about, right? So that was one of the first benefits for me as well. That being able to see everybody in one place and then be able now, as Lyndon said, that segmenting now, which is where I'm at that phase now where I'm tweaking my segment. So, okay, I have this list because, of course, the list is now very long, but who really is inside of here? Why did they come to me? Right? How and why did they come to me? They came to me through they booked a meeting or they came to me through I had a form up for a period of time. So they clicked that form. All that information is there. And I'm now sitting and saying, oh, this is who I should be speaking to. And it's making decisions very clear, right? I'm not wasting effort now in speaking, as he said, speaking to everybody. And I think that's a huge win for small businesses. Because if it's one thing we don't have enough of is time, right? We ain't got the time, we ain't got the energy, right? So if I could have something that helps me break things down into manageable bite-sized pieces that allows me to speak to different segments, have tweak my conversation, and get back very specific feedback, then you need to have that tool in your business because it really helps to scale your business first of all and make things run very efficiently. And that's one of the golden rules that we try to emphasize with business owners. Efficiency costs money, right? And you think efficiency, when you're not efficient, money walks out the door. Literally, it literally walks out the door because you're just not using a resource properly or you're just not using your time properly. So I think the benefits that CRM bring to the table, I love what it does for small businesses because from day one, if you do nothing else and all you do is just sign up for a tool, attach it to your mailbox, it starts to work for you and it starts to give you data. And then you could start to figure out where you want to go from there.
Yep.
Lyndon's like what she said.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's it right there. And I don't have anything else to add to that because Andrea has. So I've seen Andrea transition in terms of coming in fresh in terms of the entrepreneurial journey, but because she has the tools have given her the ability to do certain things. So now the conversations that she has for me now, which is another benefit of HubSpot. So she's talking to me about now simplifying her processes. We're talking about automation. And when you get there, that's because you already understand a few things already about your CRM. So you've already passed like the incubation stage. So, but now you're in a more, so you're looking at getting into a more advanced stage as it relates to your business and kind of relieving certain redundancies and tasks. Again, all these are different benefits of a CRM, but it ties back into what she wants to get done. So it ties back into her strategy. And she's just, again, the CRM gives you a lot more, but it starts off with it being the tool. And as soon as you begin using the tool, then you start seeing, it gives you more data-driven insights for you to be able to say, oh, okay, so I could do this, or this has been happening. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I had some light bulb moments like Michael when I am doing sessions with Lyndon and he shows me these different things and I go, what? I was like, it could do that? So you mean that information was there all the time? Yes, all you had is like, if you go here and you click here and you pull this report and I'm like, wow, that information was there and I didn't know.
Right. The CRM, it is the truth, right? It is, again, we keep saying it's the one source of truth. So I love that. I love that. So, but Lyndon, we this question I know is going to be a big question, right? So how much is a CRM for a small business, right? That's a question that businesses are asking. So talk to us a little bit about cost and what should a business be thinking about?
All right, so when we're looking at cost, you have a number of things that I would always say that you want to pay attention to, right? So based upon the things that you want to execute, you should start taking the time to first understand like those business inefficiencies and how much it's costing you now. And then so that when you are evaluating what the cost is, then you'll know how to properly equate it. You must have a before and you have to have something to compare it to, right? The other thing too is that what tools do you actually need? And then because there's so many different tools that's out there, it can confuse people, right? But you do have some tools where it starts off for free. So I would always indicate that we need to look at, let's say, freemium first and just start evaluating tools, because another aspect of cost is the time it's going to take to learn. There's always a learning curve, right? And you will find people that's going to say, well, I don't think I have the time, because yeah, some of us might actually have to be executing services to customers to go on to learn something that's not always intuitive, because you do have some CRMs that are out there like that. It requires a lot of time to learn and interpret and stuff like that. But when you're looking at the dollar value of certain CRMs, I say that if you can start off with anything that starts off for free, and then you start off with maybe a low trial price point. Most free platforms do have a price point, do have a 14-day trial. Thankfully, HubSpot has a kind of free for life thing, but of course it does come with certain limitations. So I always tell people, use HubSpot, squeeze as much juice out of the orange as possible for free, and then you will know what other tools you need. And then you can go into things like the starter version of the CRM. Then as you advance and as your business grows, and this is where the scalability comes in for small businesses. If you found a CRM that can scale as you scale, then that's going to be important. So again, you start off for free. There's a low barrier of entry, and then you gradually go into starter. And as your business begins to grow, then you know, okay, I need to now step it up and maybe invest in this particular version of the platform. Hope that answers. I didn't want to throw dollar values out there, but you know,
I don't think you can, right? I don't think we can
exactly.
throw dollar values, and the reason why is because exactly as you said, a CRM is made up of different components, right? So there's the marketing, there's the sales, there's the service, and they are offered in the same way, so that you can start off with one module or another. You can start off with a module at a different level. And what you should really be considering is cost benefit. I'd always add that. So as much as we like to say, well, how much does this cost? Add to that, and what's my benefit? I'll stop there because I know we got to get to the top of the hour, and this conversation is just too much.
Well, I think you leaned into that, right? It's really, what can a CRM do for you? So that's where that cost benefit comes in. What can it do for me? And really moving away from the cost. And also, right, it's an investment. So as businesses, we have to really put that investment. What is the investment I'm making to attain this revenue goal, and really make sure that's the first conversation versus, how much is it cost and is it expensive, right? We need to really switch our thinking and our thought process, right? What do I need to do? How many things do I need to sell to get to utilizing this? There are no barriers to entry. You understand the price, and if you need it to grow your business, you need it to grow your business. But Lyndon, you've kind of talked about it, and just kind of go in, what can the CRM do for your business in really, maybe 2 simple points that people can, understand when they listen to this?
All right, so it's definitely going to give you a proper understanding based upon how you're using it within your business. So for me, one of the biggest benefits I get out of the CRM is understanding that buyer's journey. Because we are using so many different customer touch points now, I get to see where customers are coming from. It gives me an understanding as to what they looked at, how many times they may have visited, if you are using social platforms and content. If you are using any, let's say, webinars or particular strategies. So it gives you the ability to understand a lot more of your buyer's journey. The other one too, it gives you the ability to kind of streamline your processes. This is very, very important. Whether you are a small business or medium-sized business, I'm even seeing it in large businesses. A lot of companies don't have that process mapped out properly. So I remember I was talking about leaving money on the table. Then that is a big one there, because you might be losing opportunities, not even recognizing that those opportunities are on the way out. So streamlining the process to either make the experience better, because again, that's another one too, the customer experience, making it better for the customer and also for yourself and your team, because you could now do things like automating to give you back some of that time, or allow you to focus on the areas that's extremely important when it comes to putting the emphasis on the delivery of the service to the customer. And I'll definitely say also, once it's done well, it gives you the ability to increase on your revenues, because your strategies, whether it's marketing or sales or service, is important. So those are some of the things that the CRM can do for you once you have your strategy. It's clear in your mind as to what you want to outline.
Love that. Thank you.
Such an opportunity to nerd out here before she went to that one. So another thing that it can do for your business, definitely running a while, is that you can build a knowledge base within the CRM, right? And a knowledge base that can inform everyone on your team on everything customer focused, right?
Oriented, yes.
So that's a huge deal, that now you are building a knowledge base of best practice, best delivery, etc. So just wanted to throw that in as one of the big things it can do for your business.
Love that. All right. So Lyndon, inquiring minds want to know, how does a CRM handle your customer data? I know Andrea talked about that a little bit, but kind of go into a little bit more detail about that. You're muted.
Yes. Yeah, sorry about that. So based upon how you have your customer touchpoint set up, the main thing that the CRM is going to do, it's going to consolidate all of your information. Right. So and also I would like to say, and this is specific in HubSpot, I know it also happens in other CRM platforms, but you also get the ability of, let's say, for instance, out of the box, the CRM does not give you a few things that's specific to your business. You can customize those things. So when the information begins to come in, or when your sales teams begin to update the information, that information is now going to start populating. So I spoke about consolidation, right? Once you have all that information consolidated, you now you have the ability of now breaking it up in different segments. All right. So it comes back to the segmentation again. But really and truly, if it is that you're looking at pulling your stuff from your online platforms, if it is that your sales teams are actually on the field, you can use your mobile data to bring the information in. And then now that the information is in, how do you now chop it up and disseminate it to the right? As we had in one of the speakers earlier, she spoke about silos. So we can now put that onto the respective quote unquote silos, but they all now work together with the data as one team towards supporting the customer. That's the main way that it handles the data. It consolidates it and it stores it there, and you can now break it up to say exactly as to what you want to do with it.
I hear sales journey. I hear efficiency. I hear team play. I hear, money in the bank as you're going through, and it is, and that's what we're here for. And I hear longevity, sustainability, are things that I find key in what you've been saying to us. And that's our why for our business and our existence in here. I'm taking notes and nerding out. I have to admit, I'm a a host here, but I am a spectator today as well. So, Lyndon, I'm so glad that you're here with us today.
Thank you.
Awesome. So, Lyndon, this is another question, right? This is another question. So, let me talk a little bit about how we got to the questions today for you. We actually used the digital marketing process, right? We went ahead and we went to a tool that I use called Phrase.io, and we talked about CRMs. We found a keyword and we looked at the most popular questions on the internet that people are asking about CRMs.
Tamara first, so as she comes back, I'll add to it since we do team play here, and I'm aware of as a team, we come together and do these things, and I'm aware of where she goes, but we go into phrase.io, we look for the key terms, what are the popular questions, and then as a group, we narrow down and we lean into it and say, what are the things that are important to us? What are people saying, and restructure and pull what we believe are the top ones that are important. And then we pepper people like you with all of these hard questions that come through. And inevitably, one of the things that will come to the table is exactly what you see here. Is it really worth it for a small business? So Tamara, I was just saying, because we do team play here, if something happens technically, one of us can typically step in because we're all involved in part of this process. But that leads into, as one of the questions that came to the table, inevitably, is CRM or whatever we're doing worth it for a small business to invest their money and their time in?
So I'll answer that by saying that there are instances where when a company is talking to me about CRM, I know that sometimes they feel as though I'm trying to not sell them a CRM, all right, or not have them invest in a CRM, because I ask why a lot. So if someone says, Lyndon, we've been thinking about HubSpot, I will say, okay, why? When we saw a couple of those particular features and stuff that we liked, okay, well, why? Right? Until we get to the point where they can't answer the question anymore. Now, why am I asking that? Even in my sales process, I do have a link where people can click on it, and it really asks them, is HubSpot for me? Right? And it's because of the fact that, yes, we would want to have a CRM platform as part of our business, and I'm all for having customers do that, but some customers are not ready. To answer your question, is it worth it for small businesses? Yes, it's definitely worth it for small businesses, but you need to be prepared to now think of your business differently. All right. Now, yes, you can start off in a very generic way of how you want to use the platform, but you will be underutilizing one of the most powerful tools, even if it's free. That's part of your business to help you grow your business, right? So you need to really start thinking broader than just having something to store customer data. Again, it's not even for small businesses I'm seeing that with. I am seeing it now with a very large organization, because the last CRM that they used was just to capture customer information, first name, last name, email address, blah, blah, blah. But now I'm showing them, okay, so do you know that we could segment like this and now put it into this particular space? And so like, we couldn't do that from before. Or even if they could have, no one showed them how to do it. And this is where it's small or medium, small businesses, yes, it's worth it for your business. I'd say look at Andrea as an example. Look at myself as an example. I've built my business around the CRM. I started off with just using it, connecting it to emails and doing outreach and using sales templates. But now I've built out my website in the CRM. This is within HubSpot. I use sales strategies within there. I'm also learning SEO through HubSpot. A number of different things. I'm putting marketing content out there. I'm seeing where leads are coming in. And if I click on it, I'm seeing exactly where they came from, who came from Google, who came from Bing, who came from this, that, and the third. So yes, it is worth it. But you also have to make sure I kind of end the same way we started in terms of tying it back to a strategy.
Oh man, love that, love that. So you know what? Our final question, and then I know Andrew can jump in there. Why do growing businesses need to use a CRM?
Right. So as you scale, you want to be able to, your business can be based upon what your business is, whether it's service based, whether it's product based, etc. It can become really, really complex sometimes. So without having that information or data, so like I know that there's one entrepreneur that she's actually using it where when certain deals are closed, it's now passed off to her VA. All right. So that is efficiency and that kind of handover process. So she doesn't always have to focus on delivering on these services, but how VA is now part of that. So when it comes to now that collaboration to offer a very good experience, and then you could now go back, and look at the work that you've done in a very precise way where you can look at the revenue. I mean, man, there's so many different ways that you can pull it up. You can pull it up with revenue first and then track the journey back to the end. You can go with the journey of the customer from the beginning and then track the revenue all the way down to the end. But it's there for you to have a better appreciation of what your business is, understand what your revenue gen is. If you're in the e-commerce space, there's one entrepreneur that I know. He has HubSpot connected to WordPress. He's using WooCommerce. When he sells his digital stuff, he sees the money coming in. All HubSpot does is tell him you've closed the deal because it automates and it integrates with different platforms as well. So it's tremendous. So many different things that we could talk about, but when it comes to business, revenue, cost efficiencies, and those type of things, that's definitely one of the reasons why you need a CRM.
So, yes, I would say that is exactly what I'm using HubSpot for. That scalability and that ability to almost remove myself from the process. You know, what Lyndon described there, that first one where, okay, after a deal is closed, it's handed over to someone else and they executing parts of the service. These are the things that as a business owner, you have to think about the ability to remove yourself from a process so that you can work on something else. And those are the type of things that as my business grows, now I couldn't do that from day one, obviously. From day one, I was all in and I'm there in the entire business and every aspect. But now that my business is now in the stage of growing, I am seeing areas where I can say, maybe I should take a step back. And the CRM tool is allowing me to do that. It's allowing me to find the spot where I can exit and have somebody else come in very seamlessly to be able to ensure that the service is executed. So definitely, for a growing business, it's a must in order to be able to have that scalability and be able to literally remove yourself from the process so that you can work on something else. And for small business, I think that is an absolute game changer and an absolute must.
100%. Man, Lyndon, it has been so awesome to have you here today. I had to bring Mike back to the stage because
you know, right?
And without
And Lyndon is so right. There's so much we can talk about of why a growing business needs a CRM. What I would add is, again, think of that management side of it. As your business grows and your team grows, you're using one solution. So you're taking that uptake time of training on new pieces of software that you're using within your business because you're still in that one platform, right? Mm-hmm. So there's that efficiency of management as well that's going to come into play. And I would say the sooner you could start a CRM, it's almost like that insurance conversation, when they say, oh, you should get in very early when you're young. Well, I will tell you, as I would say, looking back on it, you should be starting with a CRM.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I would always say that just remember that even when you are looking at the tech, just remember that you could also now go back and look at how has this been benefiting your customer, because there are different things that you can do. Like HubSpot integrates with SurveyMonkey, or you can run particular things through your email marketing to a Google form. But again, it's just understanding how is all of these things that we're talking about impacting the customer and that whole experience, because it is customer relationship management, and we want to make sure that they are successful and that they are happy and if they are getting the end benefit of your value prop to them. So yeah, and you can tie those things back into your CRM in different ways.
Oh man, Lyndon, this was awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. So this is where you can connect with Lyndon on LinkedIn. You can also connect with Lyndon on YouTube and on Instagram. You're also distributing that content all over the place. We so appreciate you coming to the show today. And I think this was such a worthy conversation because it can be daunting, right? And what we've been doing is, again, connecting all the dots, bringing sales, finance, operations, and marketing to the table, right? All the silos that we've talked about. Every one of these experts here, these co-hosts, actually fit into one of those buckets. So we want to look at the holistic, area of business to say, hey, here's how we work together, identify those stakeholders, but looking at a CRM, what can it do for all of them? Because it can serve every part of them, right? It can, like, the finance person will say, hey, Andrew's going to be like, yes, we can spend money on this because I see the path. The salesperson, Michelle, 100% yes, because we can increase offers here, we can increase pricing here, here's how we got to this deal. And the operations, Mike loves it, especially because of the operations of it all, right? Everything happens in one place. We're able to pull together the process, everything that we need. And what I love is just the data points, the marketing, all the information that we're getting, and we're able to look at it in one place and get to those strategic recommendations a lot quicker. So definitely worth the investment. So thank you so much for joining us, Lyndon. Of course, we must have you back at some point in time.
Thank you very much. I love listening to you all, and of course I do love chatting with you all as well. So I'm really appreciative of you all having me on.
Absolutely. All right, we'll take it easy. We will see you very, very soon.
All right.
Take care, Lyndon. Bye. Oh man, today was awesome, guys. I saw you all nerding out there. Did you have a good time?
It was all right. It was all right, I think. Let me rein it back in again, So
Yay!
it was good. It was a good show. No, really lots of thanks to Lyndon for coming and joining us, and such valuable insights sharing with us this morning, for sure.
100%.
I found it so great. Like we had a conversations with ourselves, like, don't nerd out today, stay on target, don't nerd out. And we did it anyway. That's the sign of, it was a great topic and a great guest. So
absolutely.
I'm glad we had Lyndon.
Yeah, no, 100%. All right, well, we got to do a few things before we get out of here. So definitely, guys, connect with us. We want you to connect with us on YouTube, connect with us at Your Business in Digital on LinkedIn, connect with us on Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, connect with us everywhere. I think our next step is Twitch. We're moving to Twitch very soon, so super excited about that. So we're getting feedback. Totally awesome show today. Love that. Thank you so much, Allison, for joining us. Also, don't forget to take the quiz. Take the quiz. Test the effectiveness of your online presence. Scan this QR code. If you are on your phone, we will make sure and drop a link on YouTube for you to take the quiz. Take the quiz. Take the quiz. It's in the podcast. Take the quiz. It'll tell you where you are. It'll give you those baseline numbers, let you know, give you a roadmap as to where you can go to get to that place of having an online presence that really drives revenue for your business, helps you to achieve your business goals. So definitely take the quiz. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And remember to tell a CMO, tell a CFO, tell a CEO about this small business show, because what we're doing here is we're bringing all the players together, right? We have sales, finance, operations, and marketing, and we help you really move to a place of achieving your business goals through digital marketing and all your digital efforts. You're spending a lot of time investing a lot of revenue into your digital. We understand that, so we want to make sure that it works for you. Understand your customer journeys, all the flows, and getting to that place of a CRM. So even Lyndon is saying, take the quiz, take the quiz, take the quiz. All right. Have an amazing, amazing Wednesday, guys. Take care. Bye.